Anthony Joshua tells Tyson Fury it makes sense to decide one dominant figure in the heavyweight division. So Anthony Joshua calling out Tyson Fury for an undisputed fight to take place. Whether this is going to take place next remains to be seen. But let's get to a few things Anthony Joshua's actually been saying. He said, if you really want to say you're number one, come fight me. Let's get on. I've got the rest of the belt, so it only makes sense. I'm the unified heavyweight champion of the world. He's the WBC champion. What it will prove me and him. What it will prove me and him fighting. There will be one dominant figure in the heavyweight division that will have all of the belts and become undisputed. Logically, to prove yourself as number one, I have to fight Tyson Fury. He has to fight Anthony Joshua. So those are the words of of Anthony Joshua. And it's not surprising that for me that Anthony Joshua was calling out Tyson Fury, because it makes sense. If you want to unify the heavyweight division and become undisputed, you have to call out the other guy who's got the remaining belts to become undisputed. But the question is whether this is actually going to take place next. Will this fight take place? For me, I don't think this is going to take place next, because I've heard Deontay Wilder in the recent WBC podcast. I think there's a quote in this article where he said, yeah, Deontay Wilder said, asked whether he would ask about foregoing his right to another chance at Fury. He said, why wouldn't I want it? Those are the words of Deontay Wilder. He said, why wouldn't I want it? Deontay Wilder's taking the trilogy. So I don't see Deontay Wilder as someone who's going to, the proud Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber, is going to drop off his trilogy rights for any money. He wants to pick up that WBC back and become and fight. He wants to fight for undisputed. He's not going to just take a little bit, some change, and then some money, and then let Fury fight. He wants to go and knock Tyson Fury out. He doesn't want and fight for undisputed himself. I don't see Deontay Wilder. I haven't seen anything in Deontay Wilder's track record to suggest he's going to take step aside money. Doesn't suit Deontay Wilder's character for me. I feel like maybe a Pulev might do that. Is more likely to do that. Pulev is more likely to step aside, in my opinion, if he's definitely guaranteed his shot at the for whoever's the holder of between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, whoever was to win the fight. But at the same time, I don't know whether Pulev would even be interested in stepping aside himself, because the guy's getting old. Is Pulev 39 or is he 40 now? He hasn't got time for waiting around for Tyson Fury and AJ to do their fight and then do a rematch. The guy will be like 41 or 42 by the time, 41 or whatever, or 42 by the time he's doing he's taking his mandatory shot. And he's Pulev's meant to be fighting people in between as well. I don't think he's gonna wait around. What if he goes around and gets knocked out by someone? So I don't think Pulev is gonna want to step aside at his age to for not taking his title, the IBF taking his title shot. I don't think Pulev is gonna do that. And at the same time, I don't think Deontay Wilder is definitely not stepping aside. But the reason why I said that I feel Pulev is more likely to step aside, because Pulev is working with Top Rank, and obviously Top Rank's working with Tyson Fury. And if Bob Barum could work something out for Pulev, so Tyson Fury, who's also working with Bob Barum's Top Rank, can get the undisputed mega money fight on with Anthony Joshua, I feel like that's more likely to happen than Deontay Wilder, who's obviously working with PBC. I think they're more unlikely to allow something like that to happen. I think they would prefer Wilder to go in there, pick up the belt, and then USA can have the heavyweight champion back, and then you could have a USA versus UK clash against Anthony Joshua. So just a quick one, guys. For me, obviously, I would like to see Anthony Joshua take on Tyson Fury. Where that fight would happen, I'm not really sure. Wherever it's probably going to make the most money, that's probably where it's going to happen. But I would like to see Anthony Joshua versus. That's a mega fight, but I don't think that's going to happen next. I feel Anthony Joshua is going to fight Pulev next, and Fury's going to fight Deontay Wilder next in the trilogy. We don't know what's going to happen in those two fights, so everyone's talking about Joshua versus Fury, and next thing you know, you never know what Pulev could do. You never know if Deontay Wilder could ice Tyson Fury out, and then the whole heavyweight landscape is changed all over again. So let's just wait and see what happens and how this heavyweight division pans out. And also, in terms of AJ, he's still got the WBO with Usyk in the wings. If Usyk was able to come through Derek Chisora, and he's still got Usyk as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this undisputed fight could be mapped out. But for Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. So drop your comments in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Anthony Joshua basically calling out Tyson Fury for what someone to be the dominant figure in the heavyweight division? Who do you think wins this fight? Does Tyson Fury outbox or potentially knock AJ out? Will AJ, Otto Warning style, get to Tyson Fury's body, open up the shots, and put Fury to sleep? Drop your comments in the comment section below. Who wins this fight? Cool.